Well, after 20 years, they're going to be redoing the surface of the Kalmbach parking lot. You've guessed it, it's the Codys Office Parking Lot Special. Hi, I'm Cody Grivno and welcome to this week's installment of Codys Office. If you hear any booms in the background, that's because they're redoing our parking lot. We have 5 great new N-scale products for you, so let's get started. Our first product this week comes to us from Bachman Trains. It's the firm's N-scale flat car with pipe load. It sells for $15. The ready-to-run injection molded plastic car has a factory-installed pipe load and has a separately applied brake wheel, truck-mounted knuckle couplers, and metal wheel sets. You can get this and other Bachman products at your local hobby shop. Next up is this custom decorated N-scale air slide hopper from S&R Models. It sells for $16. The ready-to-run model, produced by Bowser, features a separately applied plastic running board, molded roof hatches, truck-mounted knuckle couplers, and plastic wheel sets. The car is available in 4 different road numbers. You can learn more about it at the S&R Models website. Our third product this week comes to us from Blairline. It's Sam's Roadhouse. The laser cut wood kit sells for $32.95. The kit features laser cut wood components with tab and slot construction. In addition, it includes printed signs and roofing material. You can find this kit at your favorite Blairline dealer or order it from Walthers. Next up are these new N-scale LPG tank cars from Athearn. The ready-to-run models sell for $22.98 each. We have examples here of both the early and the late prototypes. Both cars use McHenry knuckle couplers with springs and have plastic wheel sets. The early tank car features end ladders and etched metal running boards. The late version of the tank car features side ladders and a longer manway platform. Both cars use plastic and wire underbody details. These tank cars are in hobby shops now. Our final product this week comes to us from Codys USA. It's the firm's N-scale SD70 ACE decorated in the George H.W. Bush commemorative scheme for the Union Pacific Railroad. The ready-to-run locomotive sells for $120. The locomotive is decorated in the Air Force One scheme and features GPS domes, a separately applied air horn, and molded plastic rooftop fans. The model also has factory printed number boards, directional headlights, operational ditch lights, and Cado knuckle couplers. You can find this locomotive at your favorite Cado dealer. For the latest product information, be sure to visit the new products section of modelrailroader.com. In keeping with our parking lot theme, we're going to show you today how to model a parking lot, and here to tell us more about it is editor Neil Besougloff. Neil, could you tell us a little bit about the Williams Bay Depot parking lot?
Sure, Cody. The Williams Bay Depot parking lot, which we recently finished, is made from a material that Woodland Scenic sells, and it's actually designed for use under N-scale, like a sub-road bed. But we thought it looked a lot like asphalt, so we thought we'd give it a try. And it's very flexible, as you can see, because in our parking lot we've got a lot of uneven surfaces here, like most parking lots in real life. It's very easy to cut. The material, just need a sharp hobby knife and a straight edge, and it'll go right through since this is foam. The challenge was to paint lines on the parking lot, and what we ended up doing, we're using templates for parking spaces. This is a typical HO parking space. Using a yellow Sharpie pen, what I did was I set the template in place and used the pen to carefully mark the line work of the parking lot. And the template both keeps my line straight and also keeps me from getting too long, and as you know, sometimes you progressively get wrong and wrong and wrong, and longer, and this kept me from doing that. Where we have no parking, where the pedestrian crossing is, I cut a template out of a piece of scrap styrene at a 45-degree angle, which again helped me keep my line work straight and even and in proportion to the other line work on the parking lot. The other details we added to the parking lot are from Rick's We used parking stops that we painted a concrete color, and since we were using the Atlas hairpin fence around the station itself, we put that around the parking lot too. And then lastly, to transition from the parking surface to the layout surface, Cody went in and used some sand to show sort of the edges of the parking area that had been graded but weren't paved.
And one thing too, Neil, is that you can spray this with polyscale acrylic paints to help tone down the shine of the foam, right?
Yes, the original stuff does have a shimmer to it, and using the acrylic paint, you don't want to use any kind of solvent-based paint because, again, this is foam. It toned it down and gave it a relatively fresh-looking cover of asphalt.
Well, Neil, this certainly looks a whole lot easier than the parking lot project they're doing outside.
Oh, well, that's true, Cody. I think if we were outside, though, we'd get the thing done in a couple days.
Cody, what do you think they're digging for?
Well, I bet you it's that time capsule with the first issue of Model Railroad. I heard it's buried somewhere out here.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised they paved over it.
Yeah, well, maybe they want it back now. Some of you have been wondering about the delays between episodes of Codys Office. Well, I recently had the pleasure of attending the Mid-Continent Region's 60th Anniversary Convention in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Let me show you some pictures from my trip. We started off the convention by touring two different railroads. We started out at Cedar Rapids at the Cedar Rapids and Iowa City shops. After a brief overview of the railroad, we were given a tour of the shops, where we got to see some of their MP15 switchers and slugs. We were able to get up close and personal and take a lot of detailed photos for modeling. And the one neat thing about the Krandic is that it's been in operation since 1904, so the railroad has a lot of heritage. Some of the historic artifacts from the railroad were available for viewing in the back of the yard. In the afternoon, we drove down to Iowa City to ride the Iowa Interstate Railroad. They brought out two of the business cars, the Hawkeye, shown here, and the Abraham Lincoln. Our train was powered by the railroad's ES44AC number 513, which is decorated in Rock Island colors. As part of the train, we were able to get off for a photo run-by. Here you can see the photo line form, and then a shot of the train going by. On Saturday, we went over to Kirkwood Community College, where the convention was based out of. There was a two-day train show that featured operating layouts and numerous vendors. There were also several clinics being held at the Kirkwood Community College classrooms, and here you can see me giving a clinic on the evolution of a freight terminal. I finished up the weekend by shooting photographs of Tony Bone's N-scale Rock Island layout. You'll see Tony's layout in a future issue of Model Railroader. Some of the items at the convention included these really nice 60th anniversary patches, a Cedar Rapids and Iowa City gondola with scrap load, that was a convention car, and the members of the convention really liked the Codys Office opening with the cups, so they gave me an even larger mug of my own. I'd like to thank all the people that were involved with the convention for making me and my wife Dorothy feel more than welcome. It was a real pleasure being down there, and thanks for your hospitality. Ooh, that's a cool looking road grader. I wonder if they'll make a model of it in HO someday. Well, we're over at the computer to check out the viewer mail comments, and this week's letter comes to us from Ronald in Texas. And he just wanted to add an extra tip based on the decaling project from last week's episode. He adds that he uses an old coffee can lid that's already black, so he doesn't have to paint it. Thanks for your tip, Ronald. You're right. Here's an example of another coffee lid that's just brown instead of black. Other lids you can use include small ice cream container lids, and I like to use old yogurt container covers. Just be sure that you rinse these out and make sure all the food products off of it so you don't contaminate your decals. Well, 2 days strong and they're still going. Hopefully by next week we'll have a brand new parking lot. That's it for this week's episode of Codys Office. We'll see you all back here next week. Well, after 20 years of surface. Well, after 20 years of surface, I said it again. Well, I would be saying my lines, but there's a bird in the tree and now a jet's coming over. That would be the jet of our printer, Quad Graphics.
Just a reminder, if you want to watch every episode of Codys Office, become a subscriber to Model Railroader Magazine.